Today's video is sponsored by our good friends at Famous Faces and Funnies. Check them out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. As well as our friends at Docking Bay 94, located in Boca Raton, Florida. Check us out on comicsandgames.com. I'd also like to add another sponsor, our good friend Black Major. Check him out on Instagram. You have to find him. Also, the best display stands, Ian's Displays, for Star Wars and GIJoe. You have to get these for your stands. Issue 268, or Part 3 of Snake Hunt, has been a rewarding delight for regular readers. As we do with every recap, we try to bring out the figures that will be appearing in this issue. Snake Eyes version 1. We have the version 1 and the modern and the vintage. Joe Colton will be making a special appearance along with G.I. Jane. These are the G.I. Joe Club exclusive figures. And we have the Night Vipers, Alley Vipers, Viper, Crimson Guard, Laura. And of course, back at the pit, we're going to see Hawk, Duke, Mainframe. Lady J is going to be in the background. This is the pit in Utah. And then back in Fort Wadsworth, we have Scarlet, Helix, Rock and Roll, Jinx, and Dawn Marino picking up. And of course, the guy behind this, Cobra Commander and Mindbender, what are they up to? What are they going to be doing with Sean? And this is the real special. We're going to see the entire Cobra air fleet. So that's going to be really cool to see. Robert Atkins has been mining the inkwork for part 1 and 2. Now, good friend Netho Diaz will be taking over. I was talking with Netho earlier in the week, and I'm going to share some sound clips of Netho sharing insight on what it's like working with Larry Legend Hama on this issue. So that's a huge bonus you're not going to find anywhere else, folks. And the things I do for you guys, whoo! And as always, these are the cover variants. Again, I got cover A and B because I want to continue that panoramic of the original 13 Joes. We begin right where we left off, with Cobra en route to Springfield after successfully capturing Sean Collins, aka Throwdown, aka Snake Eyes, from within Fort Wadsworth. The Cobra assault is led by a female Crimson Guard named Laura 343, and we learn that Laura is the female equivalent to Fred's. Reporting into Cobra Command, she informs of their status and that Snake Eyes isn't going anywhere. Now remember, Cobra still has no idea that the OG Snake Eyes has been dead for the last 4 to 5 years. Now, all this adds to a level of suspense on his being hooked up to the brainwave scanner is actually troublesome on what secrets will be revealed. Give Cobra credit for pulling off this near impossible mission. Yeah, sure, their body count was high, but they went in like gangbusters into Fort Wadsworth with the huge numbers and simply overwhelmed the Joes. And they had an all-star lineup there, and that's pretty damn impressive. Back at Fort Wadsworth, our ambushed Joes slowly rebound from the Blitzkrieg and effects from the knockout gas. Dawn and Scarlet help the others get back on their feet when Dawn notices that Sean dropped the lesser light sword he inherited from Snake Eyes. Dawn carries the slightly better Morning Light sword. I'm going to pause on this panel because if you've been following me, there's a lot in this one panel that we still have no idea about, as well as give a history lesson. First, a little sword history. Now, the Morning Light first appeared in issue 85. Now, remember when Jinx went to the museum and had to use it to fight off Zartan? It is a ceremonial sword of the Arashikage that Snake Eyes was bestowed upon, since he was the better swordsman. Now, it remained in the museum until Dawn ran away from the Cobra youth when after she was subjected to the brainwave scanner and Snake Eyes' memory was embedded in her head. So Snake Eyes took over and she went to the museum, broke it out, and had it. Snake Eyes caught up with her and like, you know what, keep it. It needs to be out anyway. Now the lesser light is what Snake Eyes used every day. That was his everyday katana. So that's what, after he died, they went to his locker and they gave that to Sean. Both swords are dangerous, but the morning light is just a little bit, it has a little bit of mystique behind it. So the first part in this one panel is the fact that Snake Eyes' memories is embedded in her and that connection between the two swords. The second part is her relationship with Sean. Yes, they are sword brothers, mirroring Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. But there's also, I don't even know if it is turning into like her feelings for Sean. She loves Sean, but we don't know if it's like a brother, sister, or more than that. So while Fort Wadsworth recovers, Joe Colton and G.I. Jane are located in Empire State Building monitoring Cobra's, escape. They're contacting back and forth between the pit. Around issue 200, we found out about Colton and Jane's top secret section in Fort Wadsworth and what they are doing in the Empire State Building. So while Coltrane and Jane relay Cobra's position to the pit out in Utah, Cobra's aerial reinforcements arrive to support the Cobra extraction team. Now remember, all of this is precaution because they have Snake Eyes on board. And we see a Strato Viper in the Night Raven pulls this "I'm better than you" shit thing, assuming lead over even Wild Weasel. And the other Cobra pilots aren't so thrilled. But man, what an awesome sight. Really quick, we go back to the pit in Utah as Duke and Mainframe coordinate with Coltrane. Hawk comes in and orders the jets to scramble and intercept, but not to fire until they know where Sean is. On board, one of the Night Vipers that is accompanying Sean and Laura decides to enact some sort of payback for the casualties suffered during the capture of Snake Eyes. And boy, was this a mistake, because it left an opening for Sean to get free. Now, on Hawk's orders, and coming in like thunder, Slipstream, Ace, and Dogfight join the not-so-friendly Skies. Now, Dogfight isn't in his Mud Fighter, but instead he's rocking the 1992 Storm Eagle, which ironically has been featured in GIJoe Berg in his trip to China. Lastly, notice that the 30th anniversary modern Sky Striker with the proper black vertical fins is used in this little panel. Like I said, giving any leverage to Sean is a big mistake. He easily flips the script on the Night Viper when Laura draws her gun on him. Sean kicks the gun out of her hands in a flash, only to have the Night Viper catch his second wind. But again, Sean kicks the crap out of him. Laura radios for backup. Fast. Snake Eyes on a plane. Cue Samuel L. Jackson. Cobra's air fleet notices the Joe aircraft in their vicinity. Now, Diaz has been killing it in this issue, if you guys have noticed. Now, look at this overhead shot, or panel. As Joe fans, let's pause and remember Herb Trimpe. Now, he loved to draw all the iconic aerial issues, or airplane-heavy issues, so this is for you, Herb, and thank you. Joe and Jane are alert of Cobra's aggressive maneuvering to engage the aerial Joes. In the meantime, they work on positioning their satellites so they could use their special weapon. Again, I have to go back and cover this, and it's around issue 200, but think of like a hybrid of the Weather Dominator and the Death Star to get an idea what this thingy is. It's kind of stupid, but whatever. On board, remember, Sean's hands are still tied together, and he's still able to kick the crap out of all the Cobra personnel trying to subdue him. Overhead, the three Joe planes are also staging off Cobra's attempts to stop them from getting to Sean or Snake Eyes. Again, let's remember that this is where Diaz's art really shines, in that the action sequences just flow seamless to seamless. Sean frees himself, and in mid-air, he worked towards the gun turret on the Hiss tank, displaying why he rightfully deserves the Snake Eyes mantle, why he is known as the last brother of the Arashikage clan, why every word in a letter from Snake Eyes holds true. And he begins tearing into the Cobra planes whizzing by. I mean, just imagine this. It's just beautiful and epic. And now at this point, they're able to see, okay, Snake Eyes is there, and they target his everything around him except that one helicopter with Sean on it. Having a visual, Coltrane and Jane fired their, I guess, death ray, and they take out the Night Raven. Just when it looks like the Joes might pull off this crazy caper, Laura points a pistol at Sean, thus ending the escape, and the issue ends. Wow. Well, here's something really special. We have GIJoe artist Netho Diaz joining us. Netho, I'm actually kind of shocked to see you jumping in on issue 268. I thought, Atkins was going to be doing most of this. So this was a pleasant surprise. Just give us some insight on how all of this came about, if you don't mind.
Hey man, yeah, I've started on the issue 268, but I wasn't actually expecting to get back to GIJoe after issue. The last one I did, I didn't even remember which one. But Tom sent me an email asking to get back to GIJoe to help him to start help Atkins because he was class teacher or something. I don't know. And Larry sometimes is really slow to deliver the script. So it's really important to get the book into the schedule.
And just to let fellow fans out there know, English isn't Netho's first language. So, again, it's very brave of him, and we are all grateful that he's taken the time to do this. And, again, I really, really commend you for doing this. It is very brave when English isn't your first language. So thank you, Netho. It's really appreciated. But just to paraphrase, basically what you're saying is Larry takes his time with the storyline. And in this case, it was like coming really close to the deadline that they asked you to help come in to help Atkins out, and you just took over from there just to make sure that you guys make the timeline, because you have to stick with that schedule. So I understand that you guys have a system. Larry sends things to you, and you guys have a quick turnaround to make sure it gets ready and gets sent out for the publisher so it gets out to the masses in sales. Wow, that's pretty cool. Netho, you're busy drawing all of this. What do you think the story is? How is it going so far?
Sorry, I haven't practiced my English in a while. And I really like the storyline. We just have done 3 or 4 issues so far. I don't know what to expect from Larry, but I really expect to have Snake.
Yeah, you really don't know what to expect, what Larry is doing with all this. That's interesting. Netho, thank you for your time. I know you're really busy, and I know you're going to be coming on later on. But again, thank you so much for taking the time for us.
So that's it. I really appreciate your support, and I'm really glad to be back to you. Thanks, man.